Once again, I'm on the couch. I guess to do a couch vlog too. I was just reading about equity membership for actors. I just now came to resolution. I was actually EMC, which is Equity Membership Candidate. It's basically a candidacy, meaning I have worked on equity stages, theater stages, live. But you had to have a certain amount of hours. Now they have changed it. You only have to prove that you've worked professionally. That means that you've worked on a stage and you had been paid, and you're now equity. You can apply and start basically giving membership dues and become equity. All right, so this email I was sent through my Yahoo talks about the theater actor being able to have quick access to actors' equity. If you're EMC, then you're kind of, I guess you could say grandfathered in is one way you could say it. It's allowing actors that have worked professionally to have open access to actors' equity. Basically giving membership dues and become equity. So equity opened its door. It had a lot to do with race, and had a lot to do with white people being the head of a lot of the theaters. I'm just reading the article now, it just came through. So it had to do, with racism and things like this. So now, if you can prove as an actor that you have worked professionally, then you may join equity. I have an EMC card. So a long time ago, I did a production out in Dallas, Charlotte's Web, which was on an equity stage in Dallas. It was under the equity umbrella, so there were many equity actors that were in the show, as well as non-equity. I think it's an interesting thing. Although, another thing, you have to pay the dues. It's not free, but it's easier. It doesn't mean that just any actor can join equity. It doesn't mean that. But you have to just basically prove, or you have to say, I guess write them or whatever, and say that I've worked professionally, I was paid. I don't know if it matters about how much you were paid. I don't think it does. And it doesn't matter how many hours that you've worked on stage any longer. So if you've worked professionally on a stage, you can apply for equity under the new membership status, or it's actually under the new membership. I'm sorry, under the new membership policy. So they have a new policy that they have just now changed, so it's easier to become equity, which is a good thing, because if you're working in an equity house and you are equity, then they have to treat you by those union rules. So there's rules to how you treat an equity actor. That was cool. I'm still just EMC though. So the policy for new equity actors is called open access. So it's making it easier for, if you're interested in acting and let's say you work on a professional stage, I believe that's under equity, then you're automatically qualify. So they did away with the hours. You don't have to worry about the amount of hours that you work on an equity stage. You just have to work under the umbrella on an equity stage, and then you can apply. Now, another thing that I might want to look further into this is, does it mean if you just work professionally on a stage as an actor, does that count as open access? So, I mean, you work for a non-equity house, but you were paid professionally, you may still be able to apply under open access. They're opening the doors, and they've already got 1,000 new members that are actors for live theater. I'm only talking about live theater, that are now part of equity. So it's growing. This is a good thing. I'm seeing a lot of community theater on Facebook, and it's looking really good. A lot of the staging and the scenery is looking very professional. And what I always thought was interesting is what makes up a Broadway house. Okay, so on Broadway, I thought that a Broadway house had to do with Broadway, but I don't think that's true. A house or a stage that has to do, or that is labeled as a Broadway stage, means it's, I believe, over, I might want to say 500 to 1,000. That makes it what's known as a Broadway house. Off Broadway is around, it's under 400, or it's 400 or 5 or 400 down to 100, and that's known as an off Broadway stage or an off Broadway theater house. If it's under 100 audience members, and then we're talking about in the audience, then it's known as off Broadway. So I think this goes nationwide. I'm still doing research on it, because the Alley, which is in Houston, has gotten a Tony Award, because they give Tonys to theaters. So I think it is actually true. So I thought a Broadway house only meant in New York City Broadway, but I don't know for sure if that's what it's classified anymore. So I don't know. I think this open access thing is cool for equity actors.